All right, I'm going to try again with this getting started with Spring Boot, and I'm also experimenting to try and make sure that YouTube doesn't get blurry. I'm trying to learn a little bit about video recording, although I'm nowhere near able to work with video editing. Okay, so Spring Boot take 2, right? Let's go ahead. I'm going to open up a new window, and what I want to do is I just want to search for Spring Boot. And in order to do that, we go to Getting Started, Building an Application with Spring Boot. So I've looked at a few of the things that is going on in the sample app that downloads, and I think I can duplicate that. We'll see what happens. Okay, so building an application with Spring Boot. Okay, it says what you will build. You will build a simple web application. You will need about 15 minutes, your favorite IDE. We're going to use IntelliJ IDEA, Gradle, or Maven. It seems to be working in Gradle. I haven't got it working in Maven. JDK 1.8 or greater. We're going to use JDK 11 and IntelliJ IDEA. Okay, so you can start from scratch with Spring Initializer or skip the basics. Download this. We're going to try again with Spring Initializer. And I don't know. Let's see if it works or not. So you go to start.spring.io. Here we go, start.spring.io, Spring Initializer. So let's choose a Gradle project. We're going with Java. We're going with the latest 2.6.1 version of Spring Boot. And remember, we're going to, I think we need, forget that, let's just go. Group is Budgeteer. We're building a budget app. And our artifact is Budgeteer Service. So we've got the Budgeteer Service, and then description. All right, and we're going to build a front end using, I don't know, Angular or React. So the package name, we're just going to make it budgeteer.service. We're going to download a jar. Use Java 11. Now dependencies, I think we need possibly Spring Web. I'm going to try that out. Let's generate this. We've got budgeteer service.zip. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let's kill off IntelliJ. I'm going to regret that when I find out that it doesn't work. And I'm going to kill off this terminal. Okay, I'm going to open a new terminal. Let's make it full screen here. And I'm going to go to temp and copy downloads. Was it budgeteer service.zip? I bet that's wrong. Let's hop on over here. Let's find Budgeteer Service, show in Finder. I don't know. Oh, we've got Bugeteer Service. I'm an idiot, or I'm a bad typist. All right, and you can see I've theoretically got one working here. So I'm going to make directory budgeteer. I'm going to move, forget that. Let's start over. Spring Initializer, we'll go to start.spring.io. All right, Maven, nope, Gradle project, Java, 2.6.1, group budgeteer, artifact, budgeteer service, and budgeteer.service is our package name, and we're just going to call it budgeteer.service.application, package jar 11, generate, and show in Finder. And there we go. We've got Budgeteer Service 2. Ah! move downloads / budgeteer service / space 2 parentheses / space 2 zip to budgeteer / yeah. All right, and then we can I'm gonna unzip budgeteer service. All right, let's get rid of that zip file for now, and cd budgeteer service, and let's tree. And you can see we've got a build Gradle wrapper. Whoops. Source main Java budgeteer service is this budgeteer service application. Got an empty application properties, and we've got budgeteer service application tests. All right, so let's go to IDEA. Open up IntelliJ. Of course, it opens on the other screen now. All right, it says trust project. Yeah, trust all projects in the temp directory. Creating building. All right. Well, it even looks bad on my screen. It looks kind of blurry. Invalid Gradle JVM config. I think we can somewhat safely ignore that. It's building. We'll look at our source files. Source main Java budgeteer services are packaged. Get back here. Source main Java budgeteer service application. All right. So we've got this app. We don't need to see all that crap. And so we're importing Spring application, Spring Boot application, public static void main. Thank you. No one asked you to collapse that code. What is this? Anyway, so Spring application run. The file or the class. We passed the class of our file here, and that should work out fine. And let's look at our build.gradle. So we've got these three plugins. We've got our Java plugin, our standard Java. We've got Spring Dependency Management and Spring Framework Boot. So Spring Boot. Source Compatibility 11, Group Budgeteer Version Repositories, Maven Central, and our dependencies. Org Spring Framework Boot, Spring Boot Starter, and Org Spring Framework Spring Boot Starter Test. And our test platform is use JUnit platform. We look at our test file. It doesn't do anything. Context loads as an empty test. Goodbye. Go away. So let's go ahead and try and run our build file. We'll open up our terminal here. Forget that terminal. I don't want to open that terminal. Let's open up our terminal over here. I like a good terminal. Let's make that disappear. Put it over here. And so here we are in budgeteer service. We are going to type /Gradle W, which is this local Gradle shell script or whatever. Yeah, it's a shell script that says run Gradle. Help! There we go. New keyboard. I spent years hating the small Mac external keyboard, and then when the arrow keys broke on that, I got a big one, and now I miss the small one. All right, so I can just type, I can type Gradle tasks, right? Will that work? Will this give me the same result as Gradle W? Maybe? Nope, error. Forget it. /Gradle W. And this will tell me the Gradle tasks that exist, right? There's the help task Java init, but application task is boot run. So Gradle boot run. That looks the same as if I go over here, I click on the Gradle tab, comes to tasks, application tasks, boot run, and we've got these documentation, Java doc, all these other tasks that we don't care about. So I can, in IntelliJ, Click Run Budgeteer Service Boot Run. We will see. We shall see. Build successful. It doesn't look like it's running. Let's test it. New window. Localhost 8080. Yeah, it's not there. It's the curse of OBS. And if I try and run it from my console, boot run. Gradle W boot run gives us, yeah, it doesn't run. I'm as baffled as you are, perhaps more so. So I'm going to file open recent. Yeah, I'm going to check out this Spring Boot from scratch in a new window. I'm going to move that over here so we can flip back and forth. All right, now this one, theoretically, we click on Gradle, we go to Application Boot Run, run it, and starting Gradle, Gradle, spin the dreidel. Happy Hanukkah to our Jewish friends, if we have any. When is Hanukkah? Sometime about right now, right? And it says greetings here. Okay, so my Spring Boot from scratch worked. I've got maybe some dependency issues, so let's go ahead and kill everything off. Kill it all off. Okay, so I've got an application. My application is a Spring Boot application. I have these dependencies: Spring application, Spring Boot application, application context. Application context equals Spring application run, and my class name, which is application. Let's compare this to the other one. Spring Boot application. Okay, so we have Spring application, Spring Boot application, application context. We don't have application context here. We add application context, and then we see context equals Spring Boot application run, or Spring application run. So we've got application context equals Spring application run, and we're passing application class and arguments. So we're still doing that. And then started application. We'll add this here, just so that we can see that it started. Budgeteer service application. And I want to add this back into my dictionary. Say budgeteer to dictionary. Okay. No more squiggly underlines for typos. All right, we run this, and it says budgeteer service boot run, Spring Boot from scratch boot run. We're going to try and figure out why it's not working. Okay, it says it's running, so maybe we need a context, and it says greetings. It's still running this other program. Kill it. There, it can't be reached. All right, the Spring Boot from scratch is successfully dead. Now the budgeteer service application, run it. It says build successful, tax execution finished, and it's running off screen, and it's still dead. So forget that. Okay, let's look out. See what else we've got different. Spring Boot application. Package. Now my application is called application. Let's refactor this. Now it's just called application. Call it application. Rename. Yep. No, we don't want Spring. Oh, it does say Spring application.run, application.class. Let's get our obviously my font's too big now that I'm using a smaller screen size. But okay, so get rid of the spaces. So it says, look, it started, and I think it starts it, but then it kills it. So what are we missing? We've got this controller, this REST controller greetings. We're going to copy that over wholesale. We can sell it to you wholesale. All right, so REST controller, we need to Spring Framework Web. Ah, that's not cool. I'm not touching it. Get mapping REST controller. Get mapping REST controller. Okay, so now let's look at our build.gradle. Dependencies, implementation, test implementation. Stop it. Spring Boot Starter Web. Spring Boot Starter Test. Spring Boot Starter Web. I bet you that's it. It's not all of it, or it might not be all of it. Group version, source compatibility. Group version, it doesn't have source compatibility. So what? Plugins, Spring Framework Boot, Spring Dependency Management, Spring Dependency Management, Spring Framework Boot. 2.5 instead of 2.6.1. What do you know? Upgrade available to 2.6.1.17. I don't even think there's a rerun our Gradle build. Let's try it. So by changing our dependency to Spring Boot Starter Web, that's all it took. It looks starting application on localhost 8080, and opening Chrome. There we go. Greetings. Aha. And now we can go to our controller and we can say budgeteer started. Okay. And we refresh that, and this is Java, so we have to like restart our server or whatever. We'll have to learn something about that. Budgeteer started. We have a simple app running, and okay. So what did we learn? We learned that the Spring Boot starter is a piece of junk. It doesn't know what it's doing. So let's go ahead and quit IntelliJ. No, let's not quit IntelliJ. The IntelliJ idea. Let's kill that. Okay, we quit IntelliJ. Okay, so let's try this again one more time. Nope, that's it for today, or that's it for now.